I'm different than you guys. You know, I'm a black gay man, so I live in uncomfortable spaces all the time, and I think that is a good lesson for college students. Again, I'm not saying
why? What's going on?
Well, what do you mean? What's going on?
Well, you say uncomfortable spaces.
Well, it's uncomfortable. Everything. College is not a comfortable place. You learn.
No, but you say you live in these spaces.
Yeah, I live in these spaces.
Well, I mean, just tell me what.
Well, I'm often the only person of color in the room, especially in.
There's only three of us here.
Yeah.
Come on.
Bill Maher absolutely destroyed Don Lemon for being the ultimate victim on his show Real Time with Bill Maher. Now, Bill Maher is by no means red-pilled, by no means based, but he has been saying some more and more red-pilled things as time goes on. He's still saying some absolutely wacko, some lunatic things such as, yeah, abortion's murder, and I don't really care. You know, I am proud to admit that I think abortion is murder, and I think it's also really cool at the same time. Like, he still says some wacko stuff like that. So by no means am I saying Bill Maher is like on the right side now, but at least he's shutting down the victim Olympics that Don Lemon likes to play. And, you know, he just absolutely destroyed him live on his show, Real Time with Bill Maher. This tweet is from Eric Abinante. It says, Don Lemon gets called out by Bill Maher for playing the race card. Lemon, I'm different than you guys. I'm a black gay man, so I live in uncomfortable spaces all the time. Bill Maher says, uncomfortable spaces? Lemon says, I'm often the only person of color in the room. Bill Maher, there's only three of us here. I'm often the only person of color in the room. Yeah, because you married a white guy. Let's check out this clip here from Bill Maher, and then we also have some more clips from the same episode between Don Lemon and Bill Maher over on Real Time with Bill Maher.
I'm not minimizing what's going on, but it teaches some of these students to deal with discomfort, right?
Yeah, that's good.
Right. I mean, it does, right?
So.
But this
you mean the tent, living in the tent?
Well, living in the tent, and also, listen, I'm different than you guys. You know, I'm a black gay man, so I live in uncomfortable spaces all the time, and I think that is a good lesson for college students. Again, I'm not saying
why? What's going on?
Well, what do you mean? What's going on?
Well, you say uncomfortable spaces.
Well, it's uncomfortable. Everything. College is not a comfortable place. You learn.
No, but you say you live in these spaces.
Yeah, I live in these spaces.
Well, I mean, just tell me what.
Well, I'm often the only person of color in the room, especially in.
There's only three of us here. Yeah. Come on. Come on.
I'm not minimum.
It's crazy. Like, it's crazy how these people have been trained. Like, people like Don Lemon and the other woke people out there, like Whoopi Goldberg and The View, even Bill Maher, they've all been trained to be victims so much that these things, like, Don Lemon doesn't even realize he's saying these things and how ridiculous he sounds. It just comes out. That's just the software update that they're on right now. Like, they just have to qualify themselves by being the biggest victim. Yeah. And by the way, Bill Maher and this other guy that I don't care about his name, I'm the biggest victim here. Just to kind of preface what I'm about to say here, I'm the biggest victim here because I'm black. It's like, well, why? Bill Maher's like, why? Like, what does that make you a victim? Why does that make you more qualified to speak on this than me? Well, because I'm often the only black person in the room. Who gives a, like, who cares? I don't notice when I'm the only white person in the room, unless there's like hundreds and hundreds of people who aren't white, then I might notice. But I'm not walking into every room like scanning. Is there any other white people in here? If not, then I need to get out. Or if not, then I need to play the victim card. Like, nobody cares, dude. You're just a person. To 99% of people, you're just you're just another person, dude. It's not like we're all saying, oh, look, a black person, let's make him feel uncomfortable because he's the only only black person in space. Nobody's thinking like that, dude. They're just not. You're doing that to yourself. And I don't even think he's actually doing it. I think he's brainwashed so much that he's been brainwashed to say these things. I don't even know if you actually believe these things. He just has been brainwashed. Like, that's the software update that they're on. There's also some other moments from this Real Time with Bill Maher episode. Let's check out this other clip of more based statements from Bill Maher.
What you just said, right, which I think is absolutely true and completely reasonable, and I think normies, who I try to speak for, would not have a problem with that. That is the exact kind of thing. If you said that on NPR, they'd fire you. And you've been fired enough.
I'm gonna get, thank you for that. I'm gonna get a lot of shit from liberals for saying what I said, but
if you enjoy content like this, and make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, it really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
I do have a book coming out, and I write about that. I like DEI. But when it becomes a religion, it can be used as a cudgel.
They take everything too far.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had to write one book about the liberals, do you take everything too far? I'm still on your side, but
it started fine. I mean, 60 years ago, there were 12 blacks at Princeton, Yale, and Harvard combined. 51% of this year's freshman class at Harvard is non-white. That's a tremendous victory. The question is, where do we move from here? And the bottom line is affirmative.
That's a tremendous victory? Do you guys see, like, these people are evil. Like, Bill Maher, he'll check Don Lemon on playing the race card and playing the victim card. And then this guy, Scott Galloway, says it's a tremendous victory for 51% of Harvard graduates to be non-white. Why is that a tremendous victory? Like, bro, you are white. And so is Bill Maher. And Bill Maher says, right, yes, great victory. It's like, it's not a tremendous victory that 20% of them were black or that 15% of them were Mexican. It's just the fact that 51% were non-white. That's the victory. Do you not see how extremely racist that is? Like, I go on this whole rant about how nobody really sees that Don Lemon is the only black person in a room because nobody's really looking. Like, nobody's walking into the room scanning, oh, there's 1 black, 2 white, 3 Asians in this room. Like, nobody cares. Like, nobody cares that much. But these people are the ones that care. These people like Scott Galloway and Don Lemon and Bill Maher, they're the ones that care. They're the ones that celebrate because 51% of the Harvard graduates are non-white. Do you see how insane that is? Imagine if you said that about any other race. Imagine if Scott Galloway got on Real Time with Bill Maher and said that about any other race. It's a huge victory because 51% of Harvard graduates are non-black. Dude, all hell would break loose. They might just snipe him on the stage right then and there. Because you say it's non-white, oh yeah, great victory. Great round of applause, guys. Great job. We did great. It's sick.
Action is wonderful, but it shouldn't be based on visible characteristics. That causes more trouble than it solves right now. It's not needed. What we need is affirmative action. I'm not done yet. What we need is
burn him, heretic, monster.
What we need is affirmative action based on color called green.
Right.
Poor kids deserve more help.
Right.
You would rather. This is a sign of victory in our nation. You would rather be born gay or non-white than poor. So let's help the poor kids out. Letting in the Indian daughter of a private equity billionaire isn't diversity.
I'd rather be born rich, I'm just saying. But.
And yet, whenever people like Coleman Hughes go on The View or go on Real Time with Bill Maher and say, let's stop helping people based on the color of their skin and start helping people based on their socioeconomic status or their just straight up economic status, they have a problem with that. That's basically what Scott Galloway is saying right here, that we should just help people because people would rather be born black or gay than be born poor. We should just help the poor people and have less poor people. I agree. Let's do that. But if you start to say, let's help all poor people across the board, whether they're white, black, Asian, Hispanic, whatever, then Scott Galloway, I guarantee you would have an issue because he doesn't want the white poor people to be helped. He only wants the non-white poor people to be helped because only then would it be a major victory. Just like it's only a major victory when 51% of the Harvard graduates are non-white.
Me too. Yeah, but it was actually more fun getting rich.
Yeah.
If you're born rich, you don't ever appreciate it. And then you're up on the roof. Trying to feel like a regular guy. What does the panel think about Harvey Weinstein's case being overturned? Oh my gosh! I mean, I did not see that. I did not see that coming.
I had this question last night at the Time 100.
Okay.
You can't win with this because he's guilty, right? Still in Los Angeles, he's been proven guilty. He's not going to get out of prison. But there were some issues with the trial, right? The judge did apparently allowed some testimony in that was prejudicial instead of probative. All right, but I feel awful for the victims. But I think that just like anyone else, Donald Trump is facing the music in a courtroom in New York City. Harvey Weinstein, he deserves a fair trial. Harvey Weinstein, whether you think he's a monster or not, he deserves a fair trial. That is our legal system. Now, is it a setback? What I was asked last night, is it a setback for the Me Too movement? No, I don't think it's a setback. I don't think women will allow that to happen. I just think it's another test. But, you know,
unpopular opinion, the Me Too movement needs a setback. The Me Too movement has gone way too far. That's, a topic for another time. But look at the Johnny Depp stuff. Look at all the false accusations that are happening now. The Me Too movement needs a setback, dude. It's gone way too far. They're seeing it as an opportunity and not a movement to help women actually speak out against actual victimhood. They're now seeing it as like financial opportunities, and it's just gone way too far.
Under our legal system, you're supposed to get a fair trial. Everyone's supposed to be treated equally.
Why? It seems like the prosecution blows the case so many times. Like, did they need to bring those women? I mean, the reason why this got thrown out is they brought women who were not absolutely in his case, and they could have just brought those. just as and we all knew that he did it 1,000
Right.
times.
Exactly.
But technically, that's what's going to get him off. And by the way, he could go free because then the lawyer in California is going to say, well, this case is predicated on the one in New York, and that one's out.
I don't think he's going to go. I agree with you. That could happen. It could happen. I could be wrong. I don't think that's going to happen.
Well,
Look, the occasion.
he's never going to win the Oscar again, I'll tell you that. All right.
Yeah, ironically enough, though, it's probably because he's a white male. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you're thinking about this clip here from Real Time with Bill Maher. And Bill Maher also just checking Don Lemon, where he's trying to play the victim card, but he just, Bill Maher just doesn't allow it. At least Bill Maher seems like he's starting to move towards the base side, at least just a little bit. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you're thinking about Don Lemon and Scott Galloway and Bill Maher over on this episode of Real Time with Bill Maher. If you enjoy content like this, and make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, it really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.